Hey, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to the Hanging On to Hope podcast.
I'm Brenda J.
And I'm Karen Wonder.
And we are HangingOnToHope.org.
This podcast is intended as educational and is not psychological or medical advice. Always consult a professional when needed, and we disclaim any liability in connection with the instruction, information, or advice given.
Yeah, right after you agreed to do the podcast, I saw some post on somebody like criticizing you for not going to the gym or something.
Yeah.
Like, that's just so rude. I can't believe the kind of people that, like, he said something like, why should I listen to someone that doesn't go to the gym or something?
Really?
Yeah.
It was like, why should I listen to someone who can't control what they put in their mouth or something like that?
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah. And then, like, why should I take dating advice from someone who's overweight?
Oh my
like,
gosh.
Like, it's always men. Always men.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, my body's not even on there, but whatever.
Yeah. It's always head up because of that.
And sometimes I roll out of bed and make a video because I'm like, I didn't think people cared what I looked like. I thought they were listening to what I was saying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It just shows their character.
Well, I might add this part to the podcast because I think our audience is mostly women, but I think it'll tick everybody off that people comment like that. People need to know reality. Like that's horrible. When I saw that, I was like, oh my goodness, there's a controversy coming up, and you just came right back at it. I was like, proud of you.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's ironic. I post domestic violence content and then they're like abusing me in my comments. Like, this is literally what I'm posting about.
But I've seen other people that happens to that have that, because that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
They just think they can belittle you in any way.
I can't believe they do that to you. We don't get a lot of comments that we're like, I don't want any mean comments. Like, I do not. I couldn't handle that.
Sometimes I can't. Sometimes I just block them. Sometimes I engage. And then every time I engage, I regret it because then you end up in like a battle. And I'm like, and the followers get in there too and they defend me. It's really cute.
Oh, so stupid. Yeah. Well, that's not surprising, especially the topic that we're about to talk about. So, hi, everyone. Welcome to the Hanging On to Hope podcast. This is Brenda J. Today, we're so honored to have Nina Batista, a licensed clinical social worker, therapist, and educator who helps survivors of narcissistic abuse. Nina works with individuals, families, and groups navigating challenges like trauma, addiction, mood disorders, and relationship issues. And her work helping survivors understand and recover from narcissistic abuse has deeply resonated with us.
Yes, we love the way you explain complex dynamics in a way survivors can actually understand, especially when their brains are still in fight or flight. Your content helps people make sense of what's felt impossible to process. So hi, Nina. Thank you for joining us today. So nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you guys too. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Yes. So we just want to start out by asking, what led you to this line of work? Was there something personal that drew you to helping people heal from narcissistic abuse?
Yeah, so this work found me. I never entered I never thought I would ever specialize in this. I also never thought I'd ever experience this, right? Like many survivors, I spent years trying to understand what happened to me. I was in a relationship with a covert narcissist, beyond confused. There was no physical abuse, but I was really depressed. I was gaining weight. I was isolated. I didn't have many friends. There was like all these common symptoms, and I always was blaming myself for everything. And I read this book called The Verbally Abusive Man by Patricia Evans.
And
it was literally, have you? I was like, boom, boom, boom. I felt like she wrote it about my partner at the time.
That was very validating for me.
Very validating.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is wild. So that led into advanced trainings and certifications. And now here I am helping other survivors heal from it because I didn't have anyone myself. A lot of therapists aren't trained in this. They don't know. I mean, I even went to couples counseling with my abuser and they've blamed me for him cheating on me and because I wanted one date night a week and blamed me for saying I was too intense and that maybe I was provoking him. And it was crazy. It was just such a mind-boggling experience. So now I specialize in this. Here I am.
Yeah. Well, we're so thankful for what you do because I would see your posts and I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense. So the way you explain things, it's great. I just think it's a lot easier to understand you than a lot of other people when they try to explain narcissism. So, and we did one in-depth narcissism podcast with Chuck DeGroat. You know who he is, right? He wrote When Narcissism Comes to Church. He's one of the top narcissism therapists. Yeah. Okay. So you often talk about understanding narcissism in a grounded, compassionate, but realistic way. For someone who's new to this conversation, what's the most important thing they need to understand about narcissism?
Okay, good question. I think the biggest misconception about narcissism is people believe it's just like confidence or arrogance or someone just being like a selfish asshole. And it's so much deeper than that. Clinical narcissism at its core, it's someone who has an inability to tolerate shame, an inability to tolerate vulnerability, an inability to take accountability, an inability to create genuine intimacy. They don't have the ability to have empathy either. They only care about themselves. At the core of the diagnosis is entitlement. It's exploitation of others. It's grandiosity, right? So it's someone who lives on their own fantasy land that strictly only cares about their needs. And they switch up. In the beginning, they act very charming and they have a mask that nobody can understand what's going on. And then all of a sudden they're this evil person behind closed doors. So yeah, it's very confusing.
Yeah, a lot of mixed signals.
Yeah, my ex was a grandiose, and that sense of entitlement, everything that you said, always had to blame somebody else for everything. Like you're spot on with all of it. And I know there's multiple types of narcissists because we did go over the covert and overt on a different podcast, but yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. So like we said, we've talked with experts like Dr. Chuck DeGroat, who reminds us that true narcissist personality disorder can only be diagnosed by licensed professionals. Do you agree with that caution? And how do you feel about the way the term narcissist gets used so loosely today?
So I actually think both are extreme and problematic. And what I mean by that is on one side, we do have a lot of people just calling any rude, selfish person a narcissist, which is right? And on the other side, we have people claiming that narcissistic abuse isn't real. I mean, I have comments on my Instagram all the time being like, only 0.04% of the population is a narcissist. And that's just incredibly invalid and incorrect.
Yeah.
You know, the reality is highly narcissistic people don't seek treatment, right? They don't get diagnosed. So it's really difficult to identify who actually is a narcissist, especially clinicians, because they lie, right? They don't come in honestly. They don't have an accurate sense of how they show up in the world. So even if they were to report themselves, it wouldn't be accurate. So that number is inaccurate. And I don't think it gets used enough, to be honest. Narcissism, when I say, like, does it get thrown around too much? I genuinely think there's a lot more narcissists in the world than people think. I agree with Dr. Romani, who thinks that there's 1 in 6 people that have severe narcissistic tendencies, which means it shows up in relationships, right? Because we all have narcissistic traits, and there's a side to that. But as soon as it hinders, you know, your day-to-day life, that's when it's pathological. That's when it's impairing your ability to have relationships, you know, sustain employment, create connections.
So if it's something where they can be clinically diagnosed, do you know how they go about doing that? Like, what do they ask them questions, or how do they even determine that clinically?
So it's a psychological evaluation that a psychologist would conduct. So there is a portion of self-report, and then usually it's interviewing the family members and the people around them.
Oh, so I can see what you're saying. How many people would do that are narcissists? Like, oh, yeah, sure, no problem.
Right. And they're not going to have an accurate depiction of how they show up, right? Yeah, I abuse my wife. No,
yeah. And
right?
even the family may not be willing to say things, I don't know, accurately.
The family's not willing to say things, right? They might be the enablers, the flying monkeys. And then another part of your question was, can people diagnose them, right? Because you have to be a clinician. And I don't necessarily think you need to be a clinician. I think you can experience the impact of being in a relationship with one and acknowledge that you're being abused, not necessarily identify that person as a narcissist. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. That does make sense.
Yeah, my ex was a diagnosed sociopath. So, I mean, it all just came along with it. But as an adolescent, his family didn't tell me till like 20 years in, when he was cheating on me with one of his cult members. So
I'm so sorry.
No, it's been 7 years, so I'm okay talking about it now. I've healed a lot and built a lot of resilience, but I didn't know.
It's insane. And my ex's mom, when I told her he cheated on me and one time he did put hands, she was like, but he loves you so much. And I'm like, you have to laugh, right?
Yeah, right.
Really? I just told you your son hit me and you're telling me to say it, he loves me so much. All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what accuracy are they going to provide?
Right. They don't want to see it because it's like, oh, we can't admit that.
No, they see it as a reflection of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just too bad to know, like, I know if I'm getting depressed or I'm getting sad, if I go out and serve someone else and not think about myself at all and go do something for someone else, it actually pulls me right out of that. So I actually feel sorry for narcissists because they're probably struggling a lot more than we would ever know. Because if you can't get out of that self, it just takes you down.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah. They can't be really fulfilled. Like,
yeah. Because we run a nonprofit too. So, we believe in Matthew 25:35-40, where, you help the poor, you help the oppressed. We live that out. So it's very freeing and fulfilling. So absolutely. I actually feel bad for narcissists.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's a self-loathing personality disorder. They actually hate themselves. And we're creatures of connection, us humans. We need each other to survive. And a narcissist is incapable of creating genuine connection because they're incapable of being genuinely vulnerable.
Right.
How can you create a connection without vulnerability?
Yeah.
So I say to my clients all the time, like, be thankful that that's not you, and be thankful that God removed them from your life because they're sick and you don't need them, right? Like, they're miserable and they're sick, and misery loves company. And that's why they need to make you hate yourself as well.
Yeah.
And it was actually very helpful educating myself about sociopaths and narcissists, because then knowing that they were incapable of love made me not blame myself. It made me be okay with it. Like, they just weren't capable of it. It's okay. I feel kind of bad for them. They're not capable of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't internalize that as a reflection of you.
Absolutely.
They just don't have the capacity.
Yeah. And I remember when we interviewed Chuck DeGroat, I remember him saying, most of them have trauma that hasn't been resolved. Do you agree with that?
So, there's a lot of experts that say different theories on that. There's not much research that would agree with any of them consistently, right?
Yeah.
There's a theory that says it's genetic. There's a theory that says it's due to childhood abuse from the parents. There's a theory that it's societal factors that can come in, environmental factors, right? I do think that there is an element of they were probably raised by narcissistic parents that end up recreating that transgenerational trauma. Right. And they end up parroting what their parents do. And that's usually why their parents end up enabling them, right? Because the parents don't want to admit their kid has a problem. And the narcissism just continues like a cycle.
Yeah. I definitely agree with their parroting their parents. So we kind of went over this, but everyone does have some narcissistic traits. But what actually defines someone as a narcissist in a clinical or relational sense? Is there anything else you wanted to add to what you said earlier?
Yeah. So most of us can be selfish, defensive, or attention seeking, right? But the difference between a healthy person and someone pathological is flexibility. So healthy people can reflect. Healthy people can apologize. Healthy people can tolerate being wrong. Narcissists can't, right? They're very rigid. They're very much, they can't take accountability. They don't have the ability to apologize or self-reflect. They cannot tolerate being wrong. It's very one-sided. And healthy people can experience empathy even when it's uncomfortable, and narcissists can't. And it has to be rigid, pervasive, and harmful across relationships. I often get victims or survivors that come to me asking if they're the narcissist. And I ask them, has anyone else said that to you in your entire life, right? You're an adult now. Usually my clients are 30 and up. And they're an adult now, has anyone ever accused you of that? And 99.9% of the answers is a no.
Yeah.
Like, you know why that is? Because it's an isolated event. You're responding to the abuser.
Yeah.
If you're a true narcissist, this is pervasive across all patterns of your life. You'd have a history of strained relationship with your family, with your friends. You wouldn't have any friends, So, and not because you isolated yourself, because people just don't like you. People don't want to be around you. Right?
Yeah.
Is it also really common that if you're in a relationship with a narcissist that they call you the narcissist?
Yeah. My ex used to call me a narcissist all the time. It was hilarious. I'm the selfish one? Really? No. I say accusations from a narcissist are confessions. Accuse you of actually doing.
Yeah, I totally believe that. So there's a term that you use that many people aren't familiar with, DARVO, DARVO. We haven't covered this yet on the podcast. Can you explain what it means and how it shows up in abusive relationships?
Yes, absolutely. So DARVO was a tactic coined by a researcher on abusers, essentially. And what they came to see was that abusers, to avoid accountability, use this tactic called DARVO, and it stands for deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. Let's say you catch someone lying. Instead of accountability, they'll deny it, then attack you, then somehow they become the victim. And by the end of the conversation, you're apologizing for confronting them. So maybe, they accuse you of cheating. They're like, or you accuse them, hey, you cheated on me. They'll respond like, me? What are you talking about? I saw you texting that guy. You're a whore. You were cheating on me. And then they'll probably start crying. And now it's completely confusing, right? Because you enter the conversation accusing them of cheating, then all of a sudden it flips back and they identify one thing that you actually did, which maybe text that guy. So you start to believe them and you're like, well, maybe they're right. And you deflect from the initial reason, which was them cheating. And now it's about your reaction.
Mm-hmm.
So they completely change the script. They twist it. So we're no longer holding them accountable.
Yeah.
Could it also be somebody that not necessarily flip that situation around, but all of a sudden you confront them about something and all of a sudden it becomes that you're the messed up one? I don't know. I think I knew somebody that did that too.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
They'll bait you a lot and they'll do like, I call it the bait and switch. So they'll bait you, they'll provoke you, and then they reverse it. And then they make your reaction the problem to their mistreatment.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Until you're apologizing.
Oh,
Oh, goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy. Well, hopefully this is educational for people.
Yeah, it's helpful already.
On one of your posts, you mentioned that one of the hardest but most critical parts of healing is to stop romanticizing the narcissist, to accept them for who they are rather than who we hope they would be. Can you expound on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one of the hardest parts is accepting that you're grieving the potential and not the reality, because many survivors aren't attached to who the narcissist actually was. They're attached to who they believed they could become or believed they were in the beginning stages of the relationship. They're attached to the future they were promised or the version of the person in the beginning, like the fantasy they created. Mm-hmm. So healing begins, the first assignment I give any client that walks into my door is what I call a shit list. So I asked them to make a list of all of the abusive tactics that their abuser did to them. And the reason is when your brain starts to romanticize and think like, oh, I miss this person, I make them whip the list out. And I say, really? You miss being gaslit and blame shifted. You miss being verbally abused. You miss being name called. Yeah. And then they're like, no. And I'm like, because it's not actually you. You don't actually miss them, right? It's your brain trying to preserve that attachment. Yeah. Regardless of it being healthy or not. So it kind of snaps you out of that fantasy land.
Yeah.
And brings you back into reality.
Yeah. I had to do that a lot when I first got him out of the house. I felt like I was being negative, but I had to remember who he really was so that I would not even think about that. And I never did. It actually worked. So it does work. It does work, people.
I promise it works. If people try it, it does.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Here's what he really was like. This is what I thought he was like. Yep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think Patrick Weaver mentioned that too when we interviewed him about it's not really the real person that you're in love with. It's the fantasy of what you want it to be. So you've talked about how survivors need to unlearn the confusion and begin to see reality clearly again, which is difficult if you're involved with a narcissist. Can you explain that confusion, how it's created and why it's so powerful?
Yes, absolutely. So, there's many reasons, right? The chronic gaslighting, the manipulation. Confusion is a symptom of being chronically gaslit and manipulated. In a healthy relationship, you usually gain clarity, and in an abusive one, you gain confusion. That's usually kind of how you know if you're in a toxic or a healthy one, I say.
Yeah.
What creates the confusion? Well, it's what we call intermittent reinforcement. It is the abusive tactic of when the abuser shows up as hot and cold. So they're loving, and then they're neglectful, and then they breadcrumb, and then they withhold. So you're essentially getting this up and down, high and low dopamine hit to the brain. And we get confused because it's a dopamine flood and we can't even see the red flags anymore, when that's like the whole purpose of love bombing, right? Because the quickness of all like the sweetness, we no longer can see the red flags. So then we justify and rationalize, and also the abuser is blaming us. So we can't see clearly at all, right? We have that dopamine hit, and then we have someone that we love and trust saying that it's all our fault. And since we're self-reflective people, we want to believe them, because if it's my fault, I can actually fix it. And then that's a lot of confusion in there.
Yeah. So much confusion.
Yeah. Your answers are so clear.
Thank
Is she
you.
good? I always love your posts.
Oh my God, thank you. Sometimes I feel like I overcomplicate it. I'm like, oh my God, that makes sense. Yeah.
So clear.
Yeah.
So what is a trauma bond and why is it so strong?
A trauma bond is an attachment formed through cycles of abuse and reward. So what I would like, the intermittent reinforcement that I was saying before. The same person causing the pain is also causing the relief. So your nervous system starts associating them with both danger and safety. And it's incredibly powerful because it's like addiction. It does the same thing to the brain as like cocaine. You get that high and low. And it's incredibly powerful because it feels like you're withdrawing. And I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with anyone who struggles with substance abuse, but it takes a while for them to kick in. They have to think to, right? There's a denial comes in, they keep drinking. It's the same. The denial is the same piece with victims of abusers. You know, we deny and we rationalize and we justify the abuse to stay in it, to maintain, to preserve the attachment, just like people with addictions do with the bottle or, you know, whatever drug of choice they have. So the attachment isn't based on logic. It's really a chemical imbalance in the body. And that's why it feels so overwhelming. And, you know, the best thing to do is really detox, get out of it, you know, cut it at the source.
Yeah.
Completely cut it off, right?
Completely cut it off.
No contact at all.
No contact at all.
I haven't spoken to my ex in 7 years, not a word.
As you shouldn't.
Yeah.
He tries though.
He tries, but not happening. So you've said that gaslighting doesn't work because someone is weak. It works because they trust the abuser. That's powerful. Can you expound on that?
So gaslighting only works when there's a foundation of trust, right? Think about it. If a stranger came up to you and said, the sky is green, you'd be like, weirdo, what are you saying? But if your spouse or your parent or a best friend or someone you really trust and love repeatedly every single day was like, hey, the sky is green. Hey, the sky is green. Hey, the sky is green. You're going to start to question it. You're going to be like, is it? Wait, I don't know, because they're telling me this every single day. The sky is green. Maybe I'm incorrect. Maybe I'm colorblind, right? I have to be colorblind because my best friend, my partner, my parent wouldn't lie to me, because we want to believe as humans that people are trustworthy, that they're safe, that they have our best intention. So our first initial reaction isn't to believe that this person that I love and I trust is betraying me, is lying to me, is, you know, saying the wrong thing. So that's why we tend to believe them, because this person I chose, there's a lot of shame to admit that this person I chose is intentionally abusing me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of shame in that, because then you start to mistrust yourself. Like, I can't trust people.
If somebody's lying to you all the time and you kind of lose that trust with them, then they're still able to, it's interesting how they're still able to gaslight you though, because there's some form of trust there, right? That was built at some point.
Yeah, because you have to remember the gaslighting causes dependency on the abuser. Because the gaslighting creates distrust within yourself and then creates a false sense of trust with the abuser. You become dependent on their reality. They must be correct. I must be wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's false. Okay.
Have you ever seen the movie Gaslight? Gaslight? I can't remember if it's called just Gaslight.
I haven't. I need to watch it.
Yeah, it'll make you mad because you watch it and you're just like, oh, he's, you know. But I like how it ends.
I gotta watch that one. She keep talking about it.
That's right. You didn't see it. I have it on my. I have it where I can. Anytime you want to watch it,
okay,
digitally, whatever you call it.
Yeah. We'll watch it together.
I know we will. It's been a while since I watched it.
Nina can watch it with us too.
Absolutely, I would love that.
On the movie night.
Perfect.
So I think I already know the answer to this question, but do narcissists know what they're doing? You kind of already said they don't have a lot of self-awareness. So do you think they have any idea what they're doing?
So it's not like they're sitting there thinking like, how can I ruin this person's day? Right? Like they're not like, unless they're malignant, right? And I'm not saying malignant here. Usually the clients that come in are towards the moderate narcissism because it's on a spectrum. But they're not sitting there thinking like, oh, plotting like, oh, how can I ruin this person's day? They're thinking about themselves. It's entitlement that really drives it, right? And it's how do I get that need met regardless of who it impacts? So it's not necessarily I'm intentionally gaslighting you. It's you're in the way of my goal. So how can I get you out of the way? Oh, the tools that I can use. Okay, let me use these tools in my toolbox and I don't care how it impacts you. That's usually why most of them have the same playbook, right? There's a diagnosis for a reason.
Yeah.
They're all using the same toolkit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we talked about this a little bit, but how are narcissism and entitlement connected?
Entitlement is the core pillar of narcissism. It's the belief that normal rules don't apply to you, that they deserve special treatment, special expectations, special forgiveness, special consideration. I mean, that they just believe that they are God's gift to earth, essentially. They want benefits of the relationship without responsibilities that come with it. That is the basis of narcissism, right? Entitlement drives their behavior. So without entitlement, it's not a narcissist. You know,
that's a big part of it.
Yeah. And I think sometimes that the women empowerment type stuff on TikTok and all that, this is just my opinion. It's creating almost a sense of entitlement. Do you think we'll be creating more narcissism? Do you know what I'm talking about? Where the women are like, I deserve this, but yet you do deserve it, but you need to give it back too. They're not seeing the reciprocation of I need to be a good person. Yeah. In order to. It's kind of this teaching that's a little bit off. I mean, a lot off. I think
media in general creates this, like, you know, it's a blessing and a curse, I believe. It's great because it connects you with people, but it also fuels entitlement and grandiosity and superiority, right? We're sitting there and all we want is likes and comments and we're seeking that validation externally and that entitlement of getting more followers and getting access to clubs and VIP stuff, thinking that, you know, you deserve more. I think society now is kind of screwed, really. We glorify narcissism. Like, love it. We love to see it. We pay to see it in movies. We pay to see it everywhere, right? It's sad. We're talking about how intriguing it is, but no one's really talking about how painful and negatively impactful it is. So I'm glad that we're doing this podcast.
Yeah.
Very important.
And also but I was also talking about when a woman, they're learning, I deserve to be treated like a queen. And they want everyone and men to treat them like a queen, but they're not even kind to other people or to anyone. But they feel that they deserve to be treated like a queen. I'm thinking, but you have to be loving and kind too.
Yeah.
Right. You know, that's what social media is teaching people too. Where it's off. Yeah.
That they don't have to contribute anything and they just get to receive everything. And that's
I'm just deserving of that. Yeah.
Right. We're all deserving of love and respect.
Right.
Just for being alive, humans, right? But that energy is reciprocated. That's how relationships work. It goes each way, or else it's just one way. That's narcissism, right?
Yeah. Right.
Going into one.
That's what I think it's creating, social media and what they're teaching. It's creating such a big mess.
It is.
Oh, good.
So this part I thought was important for Karen because you struggle with migraines and stuff. I also have Hashimoto's from being with an abuser. So I really liked when you did this post on the physical impact of narcissistic abuse. So go ahead, Karen, if you want to read that.
So something that often gets overlooked is how deeply narcissistic abuse affects the body. Many survivors experience real physical symptoms because the body is responding to chronic stress and trauma, even if medical tests don't immediately show a clear cause. So what are some of the physical symptoms survivors experience, especially when they go to doctors and nothing seems to come back medically wrong?
Yeah, so this...
To be continued. Stay tuned for next week's part 2. You don't want to miss it.
Thanks for tuning in to Hanging On to Hope. Check out our website, hangingontohope.org. There are resources on there, and if you would like to donate or volunteer, you can do that through our website. We are a brand new nonprofit, so we appreciate any and all support. And we thank you for listening, and until next time, keep hanging on to hope. We are evidence that there is hope and healing for you, and our passion is to help you find it too. So thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for listening, everyone.